Hello, y'all. This is Prime 3285, and I just want to talk about Transformers 4 Age of Extinction. Now, I know Transformers 4 Age of Extinction came out June 23rd, 2014, and I really liked this movie. It was different from the other movies. Also, with this movie, I guess what they wanted to do is they wanted to start fresh. They also redesigned the Transformers from top to bottom. They redesigned Optimus. They did him over. They did Bumblebee over, and they did an amazing job doing the robots over. Also, this was the first movie that didn't feature the original cast members, which I remember when I seen it for the first time, and maybe a few times. It was kind of weird for me because I was so used to Shia LaBeouf. I was missing the old cast members. I admit, because it took me a while to get used to Mark Wahlberg's character and all the other new characters they introduced, like Tessa, you know. But I ended up growing to like the characters. I really liked Mark Wahlberg's character, Kate Yeager. I felt like he was similar to Sam, but he was older, and the only difference was he was a father. Also, what was cool, he was a mechanic. He was really cool at making stuff and building stuff. But, this movie, in some ways was dark. And it continues off from where Dark of the Moon left off. Like, after the Battle of Chicago, a lot of things changed. The humans was starting to act really funny towards the Autobots. Some of the humans, was treating them really badly. And in this movie, all the Autobots are hunted down, including Ratchet. Ratchet gets killed by a cemetery wind and Lockdown. Because Lockdown wanted to know where Optimus was. And they were all in hiding because they were being hunted. And that's what Ratchet said. All Autobots are hunted. We are all in danger. And Lockdown shot him. Now, it was a cool part when his head transforms. Like, I think what was so different about Lockdown, his head transforms. Not just his whole body, but his head transforming to like a plasma cannon, like a gun or something. And he shot Ratchet, and I thought that was really messed up. Ratchet dies in the beginning of the movie, and Lockdown was a new villain that they introduced. He was just as vicious as Megatron. He wasn't actually a Decepticon or Autobot. He was bad, but he didn't like Decepticons or Autobots. He was neither one. He served the creators, and that's what he stood by, is the creators, the ones that made him. He wasn't on no teams. He wasn't on the Autobots team. He wasn't on the Decepticons team. He didn't like them because he was calling them, like, he was saying that all Autobots and Decepticons fighting, they're like children, making a mess out of the universe, and I have to clean it up. That's what he was saying, Lockdown. And he killed Ratchet, which was messed up. But little do we know that Kay Yeager found an abandoned truck, and the guy sold it to him. So he took it home and was working on it. And little do you know that it was Optimus Prime. He found out, like, it was Optimus Prime. And, after they was done, with Kay Yeager was, I think he took parts of the truck. He took parts from it. And, when Kay Yeager realized it was a transformer from the Battle of Chicago, it transformed and it was Optimus Prime. And Optimus Prime was badly wounded. He was falling apart, And Kay Yeager said, I could help you. I could fix you, The next thing you know, Cemetery Wind got some scoop that, from I think it was Kay Yeager's friend. He told told he called. I think he told Cemetery Wind where Optimus was. So they were on their way to find Optimus to try to kill him. Well, I don't think they was trying to kill him, but they was trying to capture them because Lockdown really wanted Optimus. He was a bounty hunter. That's what he was. So they get to the Kay Yeager's house, and they was threatening to shoot Tessa if Kay Yeager didn't tell them where Optimus was, which was messed up. It was crazy. And this movie was a little more darker. It was darker. It had a little, and it was really something, And Optimus showed his face. He shoots out the barn house, and he attacks Cemetery Wind, and he's like, "Here I am," and then he shoots at Cemetery Wind, and he transforms, and at the midst of that, Lockdown shoots and blows up Kay Yeager in them house. He blows it up, and Shane just so happened to be spying on him, and Shane came out of nowhere and hit one of the guys with his car. And Shane was another character introduced in this movie. He was the boyfriend that Tessa didn't tell her father, she was dating. So they end up getting away, they was driving, and they end up getting away, with the help of Optimus, they was being chased by Cemetery Wind. And Kay Yeager wanted answers because his daughter almost got, she almost, she could have dodged, and he wanted to find out who was the mastermind behind that, and then he ended up finding out who the mastermind was, It was a guy who was basically friends with Lockdown, and he was the head of KSI. He was one of the heads of KSI, and they met one of the guys who also, they also introduced Stanley Tucci. I forgot what his name is, Stanley something, but he plays another, he's a scientist. He's like a part of the KSI, he's like one of the main leaders of the KSI, and his wife, and what's so cool about this movie is that they introduced the Dinobots a lot. That's one of the things I really love about this movie. They brought in the Dinobots. They gave us the Dinobots, and the Dinobots look awesome in this movie. They look really cool. How Grimlock transforms into to the Dinobot, and to the T-Rex. It looked really awesome. They did a magnificent job. I love these, their version of the Dinobots. And what I like about the Dinobots is they so massive that they even bigger than Optimus Prime. They're massive. They really big. And this movie was a great movie. It was really a great movie. Especially for the fourth chapter. It was the fourth chapter in the Transformers live action franchise. And it was a great movie. And it came out June 24th, 2014. And I remember, I actually didn't see this in the movies. First time I seen this, I seen it on bootleg. I seen it on bootleg like so many times, a lot of times. But I think later on down the line, I ended up getting it for Christmas. Christmas of last year, I got it. But it came out on DVD, my fault. It came out on DVD September 3rd, 2014, But I remember when I got it on DVD, I watched it like crazy. Because I really loved the movie. I enjoyed it. And now this was the only movie that I didn't go to the movies to see, It was not because I wasn't interested in a movie. It was just because, how you just... I was really busy, and I guess one of the main reasons is because I had a clear bootleg. I had like a really clear copy of the bootleg, and I think around that time it was like wasn't in the movies no more. Now this movie made a lot of money. It didn't make as much as the previous, as the trilogy, as the first trilogy. It didn't make as much, but it did made a lot. And this movie, of course, got negative reviews, which the Transformers sequels do get. I feel like the reviews ain't fair. They stay giving the movies a hard time, and they stay giving them negative reviews. Which is nothing new. But yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. And I feel like this was another underrated sequel. Of the Transformers movies. It's another underrated part. And I really enjoyed the plot of this movie. Lockdown. The Dinobots. I love the fight between Lockdown and Optimus. I even love how Lockdown has his own theme. This also introduces Galvatron. He was a prototype that that KSI made, but the secret was Megatron was still alive. He was feeding them specs. He was making them think that they were making their own. Well, he was actually giving them, ideas to how they make Transformers. So he actually tricked them into building a body from himself. He actually tricked the humans so they could build him a body, and so they can build him an army. So I like Galvatron. In this movie, I really liked this version of Galvatron. Now I know some people was down in this version of Galvatron, but I really like this Galvatron. I even like his music. Also, I like how the KSI, they Transformers, how they transform is differently. I like how they made it different. But I really enjoyed this movie. K. Yeager, I really grown to like his character. He was really tough, like Sam Witwicky. I even liked the Cybertronian gun he had, which was really cool. Bumblebee, I like how they redesigned Bumblebee and Optimus. They also introduced Hound, which was voiced by John Goodman, which was awesome. I love Hound in this movie. I also love Drift. He was a triple changer. He was a samurai with 2 swords. He was a helicopter, and he had a vehicle mode and a robot mode. And I also love Crosshairs. He was a cool addition to this movie. And